right, I'm going to call the meeting to order and ask everyone to rise for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone. Hope everybody had a good Eclipse Day. This next part of the meeting is citizen comments. Do we have anyone that would like to address the board? Okay, moving on to celebrations. Adam.
All right, good evening, board members. Yes, Eclipse Day is finally over. So, moving on to other events. Starting off with our big news, and I guess I'll just start by running through the stories on the website. So our big news is Cassandra Eberhardt moved on to, well, she won the Region 6 Teacher of the Year award for the year. And so you might remember Ray Herrick a few years ago also reached this point in the process. And then back in 2006, Dan Schaub won the entire Teacher of the Year award for the whole state. So we have a great history of having outstanding educators, including those who have participated in this program, which is extremely competitive and a lot of work. We had John Gear a couple years ago who was part of this as well. So it's a lot of work and very, very competitive with some phenomenal educators. But want to congratulate Cassandra. She's had numerous media requests, as she should have. It's actually very positive to see media focus on something positive in education and actually treating an educator the way they should be treated when they achieve something outstanding. And so there'll be more stories posted, I believe, this week from different outlets. Lansing State Journal's already had one that was out on Friday. And the turnaround's pretty quick. She's interviewing in front of a state panel, I think, in about a week and change for the state award. And so I know she'll be busy with preparation for that. Again, it's not an easy thing to do. But congratulations for her. And she teaches my favorite class in the district, which also makes this a little more rewarding. So in case you missed that, I used to teach that class. But anyway. She's obviously doing it much better than I did. So moving on to some other stories. All our schools, and the board's seen this data already, but we posted it finally, that all our schools were listed as reward schools that participate in the state assessment program. They also received all A's for student proficiency and student growth. It's the second consecutive year that all the schools have received that recognition. This is also the last year that state assessment system will be recorded. So we're going out on top officially. But again, congratulations to our students, staff, parents, and community on those recognitions. Likewise, we've posted the story that we have not one, but two playing surfaces that are recipients of the Fields of Excellence Award this year, which is bestowed by Pioneer Athletics for excellent fields of play. This is, again, is a competitive application process at the national level. And we have two of our fields here in Williamston are amongst the top 100 natural grass playing surfaces in the United States, with our baseball field and our football stadium, which is the third year in a row that the football field has earned that recognition. So congratulations to our maintenance team, especially Ryan Van Sickler, the lead groundskeeper, who puts a lot of his own time outside of work and heart and soul into that, into those facilities to make them what they are. A few weeks ago, we had the elementary art extravaganza. This was led by Angie Herrick, who's our outstanding visual arts teacher at the elementary campus. The entire Explore Elementary was full of student art from both Discovery and Explore Elementary. Multiple shows within the show, so to speak. So there was painting. She had a whole section devoted to clay work by students. And then my personal favorite was kind of the glow in the dark thing that she had going on in the Explorer Gym, which was really neat. So that was up for a few days to look at, and she had a gallery exhibition after school, I believe on a Friday, and a lot of folks attended that to see student artwork displayed. So I think another example of the Williamston way, educator going way above and beyond what is required to do something extra special for students in the community. And then not pictured, but also worth noting, we had Math Science Academy students attend the M3 MathWorks Modeling Challenge a few weeks ago. A very competitive state level event. The team earned honorable mention, and all the students, they earned a $1,000 college scholarship that was divided amongst the 5 members of the team. So congratulations to those students. I have a photo and a caption coming out in the future community update. But congratulations to those students for achieving so highly in that event. Those are celebrations this evening. Pending any questions?
All right, moving on, education update. Mr. Parson.
Wish I had a really good eclipse pun, but I'm not that forward.
It's over now.
Didn't realize
We can let it go.
Did get out there briefly, saw what all the fuss was about. Winter sports, seems like a long time ago, and I guess in actuality started in November it was, and now we're into April. And got to be playing some spring sports this week. Actually, I think we played Friday. Finally got a game in Friday, last Friday. Let's see.
Is that all working?
Is that on?
Is there a power
There we
button?
go. Is that
Is it
for
delayed?
you? Yeah, I'm not sure that's working.
All right. I
Usually
just point
there's
to
a
you,
red-
you call it good?
It worked.
That's easy enough too.
I feel like
Girls
we-
basketball, Coach Pete Cool, Coach Brian Kev from varsity and JV. We had 22 girls for 2 levels. We were 10-0 in conference, and we lost in the district finals to Hazlitt. We beat twice. It was well, actually, the game wasn't actually competitive itself. It was one of our, not great performances, but it was a really good year. I mean, to have a 10-0 conference season was excellent. You know, just the wrong time to have an off night, and that's what happens in sports. JV was well above 75% wins as well. So it was a great season for the girls program. Boys basketball, we had 3 levels, Coach Vroom, Coach Codette, and Coach Riley. Raleigh, he was new this year. We had 40 kids for our 3 levels. We finished second in conference and lost again in the district finals to Chelsea, who was state ranked all year. Great game down at Gabriel Shutter down there in Ann Arbor. You know, they were just a better team, and again, happens in sports. Both sub-varsity levels were also, you know, above that 75% win percentage. So again, where our teams are improving and doing well at all levels. Wrestling, Coach Hansek, we had 29 kids out. We were 3-2 in our duels, which we wrestled everybody in conference. We got 3rd place in conference. We were team district champions, which we hosted, and then we hosted the team regional the following week, and we lost in the first match, in the first duel that night. In the individual side, we had four state qualifiers, and 2 went on to be all-state, which is 8th place, and above we had an 8th and 6th place finisher. So a great season, numbers improved. You know, again, wrestling at the youth level is picking up, and so we're trending in the right direction as well in wrestling. Boys swim and dive, we had 14 kids out. We were 4th place in our conference at 4-3 with our duels. And then we had 1 state qualifier, so we're back. Last year we didn't have anybody qualify for state, but this year, and then 2 events, and there were 20th and 27th place finish, which again sounds like you know, pretty high placing, but in the swim world, that's actually a very strong finish for us. So you know, again, trending up, and it was a great year for the boys swim program. Co-op sports, we did not have anybody that made the hockey team this year. There is think 7 teams in our co-op. So it's a very competitive hockey team. And we didn't have anybody that made the team, but we did have 6 people in gymnastics, which is with Hazlitt and St. John's. And I believe there's another smaller school involved in that, but Hazlitt is the host of that co-op. But we were league champions, and the team qualified in states. And so we had 6 of our girls presented in that photo. It was a great experience, and we have a lot of youth on that team from our side as well. So that's exciting going forward for gymnastics in that co-op. Again, that Hazlitt hosts.
Did we have someone individually qualify at the state level too for that, or is that just the team? I thought that, you had a story about that?
We had individuals, yes, we had individuals qualify, and I forget which,
I thought I saw a story
which were
about it.
teams,
So-
but yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we had the all-around champion at regionals. I don't know the levels, but moved on to qualify for states.
Okay.
Yes. And
Great.
when that came out, then team became the state qualifier.
Great.
Spring sports that have kicked off, and due to weather, just haven't been playing a ton. But again, this week looks a lot better, so we're crossing our fingers. But track for the 2 teams, we're at about 60 and 30, so 91 total, 60 for boys, 30 for girls-ish. Tennis, 25 girls out. Soccer, 38. Tennis and soccer both have full JV teams. Softball, we are working on a JV team with 26 athletes. We are fielding a full varsity team. We have a JV team. Right now, we don't have any scheduled games just because of going week to week with 9. It's a little dicey at the JV level and to set something up and then have to take it away. So our plan is to get about 10 single events for those JV girls, about some first-time players in the sport. So we're looking forward to giving them an experience that they can grow from. Golf, we have varsity and JV with 15 athletes. Baseball, we have 3 teams with 36. Esports, it's on their 2nd round, so they kind of play in the fall, and then this is their 2nd round of esports. We have 13 kids out, and then we co-op with Hazlitt Boys and Girls Lacrosse. Between the 2 boys and girls, we have about 5 athletes. On the enrichment side, some of the biggest things we do in the spring, and it's just, we wind down from getting basketball and Red Cedar going to starting up, they just started up volleyball, youth volleyball going in the gyms, and then we have our 2 dances for our sons and daughters that we kick off, and we do those in May. So it's a busy time, necessarily not only everything going on outdoors, but we try to do a lot of things indoors and try to, when people are out and about doing things, we try to get a few things going with the enrichment side. Wave club for the spring, for swim for the youth. It's just it's a great time that a lot of kids can be doing a lot of things. And as a parent, I wonder how they can get everything done, but we figure it out some way, and we'll just keep providing more opportunities. So it's been it was a great winter. The spring is moving forward very fast. We're almost halfway. We'll be halfway through April next week, and then it's over. Just like it is every year. It's crazy, but it's a fun time. So looking forward to the spring season and everything that we're doing with enrichment. Any questions? Anything I can answer for you?
One thing that in the future might be helpful, I think it'd be helpful for me,
Yeah.
is to get some context of where we were in past years and where we are today. So like, I know that our numbers were below 91, but I don't remember what they were last year. So that might give us, as a collective, a little more concept of, hey, we are seeing growth here, or no, we're not,
Yeah.
what's going on. So that might be helpful, even if it was just a year to year or a multi-year type of a breakdown, just so that we could see that.
Yeah, I can certainly see kind of, some sports are obviously more consistent. Track, depending on the group of kids, what graduates, what comes in with the bigger numbers, that does fluctuate a little bit more, but certainly I think that would provide some context. And even so, more kids going out, sometimes, the success doesn't always equate to the kids coming out, but that's not what's always more important.
Yeah.
It's just how many kids want to be out and involved. And sometimes we have more involved on the art side of things than we do that take up a lot of time, whether it be the spring play or anything else.
Yeah.
So, I think we're fortunate enough this year to kind of have amount of numbers with everything else going on in the district.
That's great.
I have a question. Did you say we have 3 baseball teams for
Yes.
boys? So we have freshmen, JV,
Yeah,
varsity?
yeah, it's, basically in the baseball world, it's not so much freshman anymore as it is, it's kind of a sub-varsity, just because of a skill level and a lot of teams having maybe more sophomores, but still wanting to get enough games, because not everybody, if you combine, if you have 18 kids on one team, they're not all going to play. But yes, what
So do
we
we have-
traditionally think is freshmen, but yes, we have 2 sub-varsity teams.
So, because we have 30.
3 sub-varsity teams in
Right,
baseball.
3,
Yeah.
and there's 36 kids. So is it just 13, 13, 13? I mean,
No,
how, like-
so with that, you can play 36 games in a season. So a JV doesn't get a full, and obviously with letter varsity doesn't even get 36. So you kind of hop back a little bit and forth, and with pitching, so it's kind of a little complicated, but it's a little numbers game of, hey, this kid can go play. Freshman doesn't have games, so a couple of kids that may be able to bat for the JV or for the JVA team will play, and then, hey, we need to play this, so a couple kids will play down just to fill spots.
So is it, what goes into determining whether we're gonna have those 3 teams or 2?
Just the amount of kids and pitching, because
And-
you're only allowed to pitch so many pitches in a week.
Interesting. All right. Any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Exciting season. Superintendent's report, Dr. Spina.
So a little earlier than usual this year, but they were ready, so we passed them out tonight. So the board has the invitations to commencement this year. Still working on parking passes, but I would kind of venture to say we're probably not going to get those. So, but parking's still free in the main lot at Wharton. Moving on to the next couple of meetings, May, as you know, is always big on handbook and school ed updates, so all those will take place over the 2 different meetings in May from all the buildings. I think maybe with the exception of Kids Corner, they're the first meeting in June. And then testing season, everyone's favorite, has started, so spring sports and state assessments kind of go hand in hand, unfortunately. And so those are off and running, and it is what it is. So we just hope the technology works every day, and which isn't usually the case. But anyway, we'll get through it. So that's it for superintendent's report. Unless there's anything else I can clarify.
Any other questions for Adam? All right, we do not have any board committee reports at this time. We have discussion items, a whole list of teachers for tenure recommendation, and we have, again, very nice write-ups from the principals, which make it very helpful. Adam, is there anything you want to say, or are there any questions?
That's a really strong cohort of educators, and fully support the recommendations that the principals and directors have prepared for you.
Do we have, so I guess I'm gonna, if you have questions for Adam, I would give him a call, unless there's something general that you want to ask, because this is an employment issue, so we do have to be careful with some confidentiality things. So if you have any general questions about the tenure list, you may very well ask that now. If there's something more personal or individual, I would reach out to him. I do, again, want to say it is very helpful having these little write-ups for each person. It makes it really easy to have them broken up by buildings, and having their supervisors write up those little synopsis makes it helpful. There isn't any specific questions. I'm going to move on to our technology purchase, and I'm guessing, James, you're going to be.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So, I'm here tonight to make some recommendations to purchase some technology that has aged. The first up here is going to be my recommendation to replace the desktops that are now 5 years old or older. The process of purchasing those goes through our statewide device purchasing program. There's a competitive bidding process. It's through REMC. And the total dollar amounts and the number of devices are there. It's 105 computers for $54,467.44. And we're planning on replacing those this summer if this does get approved by the board. And I'll go ahead and pause there if you have any questions about that.
This is coming from general fund?
This comes out of the technology budget,
Okay.
and this is the annual cycle of
Yeah.
computer replacement that happens every year.
Great, thank you.
Correct. No other questions? All right, I'll move on to the Chromebooks here. So the next recommendation is to purchase new Chromebooks to replace the devices that are also now 5 years old or older. So the total, so the original memo, I believe Betsy gave you guys a revised copy of the memo. The dollar amount for the Chromebooks was lower than I had anticipated on the first memo. So we're actually going to be able to replace more devices with roughly the same dollar amount, a little bit less. So 281 Chromebooks is what we're hoping to replace this summer. And the total is $72,850. And the funding source for that is actually from the ESSER funds, the grant application that we submitted years ago. And we've just had those in reserve for replacing these devices.
So for those ones that are being replaced, I know typically we would look and see if we would sell them for a very low price. Has there been any thought of whether or not the families that have them currently, if they would like to purchase them from the district, instead of them just getting recycled somewhere else?
Yeah, I think that's a great option for the devices that the students currently have. Right now, our process is we collect everything back, and then we put everything together in a list, an itemized list of everything we have, send it out to recycling companies that service in the area, just to get as many offers as we can. But it is possible if we were to go with that path. I've heard of other districts using that and finding value in it. Once we do get to the point where we're looking at replacing the devices that students currently have, allowing them to just purchase them outright, I think that would be a good option to consider. These devices in particular are not devices, they're not one-to-one devices.
Okay.
However, that's definitely something I want to keep in mind once we get to that point, because we typically, it depends on how old the device is when we go to recycle everything. But I mean, sometimes we get, if it's a newer, we might get, $30, $40 for a device. For Chromebooks, they're typically retail around $250. So they don't sell for much once we have gotten past the 5-year cycle. So if we ask families, hey, you want to pay us $20 to keep it, we probably would get more from families than a recycling company. So
Yeah.
Can we sell them back to families depending, or does that depend on what money we use to buy them, or is it just doesn't matter?
Oh, that's a good point. If federal funds are used, they do have some stipulations around that. So like any of the ESSER devices, which is a good chunk of them, so we would have to confirm that. That's a good point. But the others, I would believe, would probably be pretty flexible.
yeah, I know, like, for instance, with the ECF devices, when we purchased those, it was, I think after a 3-year period, you own them and then you could sell them. So there, like you were saying, yeah, there is, for grants typically, they don't want districts to just get all of them with the grant money and then turn around and sell them and then use the grant money for something else.
Right.
So there is like a period
Yeah.
of you have to
Like
have
even
them for so
with-
long.
Yeah, even with like the HVAC and stuff like that, like even after 20 years, if we decide to scrap it, we're supposed to report that it was federal. Like,
After 20 years?
it's whatever
Right,
it's.
right,
yes.
I understand what
Kinda
you mean,
like
I'm
how
just saying,
CSRP will
you
take
need
the
to make
playground
sure you-
equipment back if
Yeah.
they, all that
20 years
good stuff.
old, but still good.
Yeah.
Don't just give it away. Kind of like hoarders.
So the Chromebooks we're replacing are the rack ones that the classrooms have been using at the elementary?
Yeah, it's
Mostly.
split up between elementary devices that are on cards in classrooms and staff devices,
Oh,
so, yep.
Nice.
What's the difference between the two model numbers on here?
So, the 14-inch devices, those were moved over from our high school. And when we went one-to-one at the high school, we gave the new 11-inch devices to our secondary students.
Oh, so just screen size, basically.
Exactly. So we're switching the 14-inch devices that are currently in the elementary classrooms back to 11-inch devices. That's our standard size. The 14-inch devices were mainly for staff, but we did get some at the high school. So we're just gonna re-standardize everything to be the same size at the elementary level.
Good.
So,
Okay.
all right. And then I did have one more recommendation here. So this one is to replace the copiers in the district with new Toshiba copiers. The average age of our copiers right now is about 10 years old. So we're looking to get 15 new copiers for $72,374.42. That offer, we received that offer after going to bid. And we also included in our request for proposal that we receive offers for managed print services for 5 years. Essentially what that entails is a company will make sure that our devices are up and running, supply us with toner, and if we have any problems whatsoever with our devices, we can call them and they'll have somebody come out, usually the next morning or that day, depending on if it's earlier in the morning, to service the equipment, make sure everything's running. And the way that that's charged is per print within a given month. And so based on the average amount that we're printing every year, over the 5-year period, the estimated amount is there. It's the $124,101.83. So if we do move forward with this recommendation, the copiers and the managed print service contract will start July 1st of 2024. And the funding source is the general fund for each respective fiscal year.
And what do we do with the old printers?
So I'll be doing the same thing that I do with other technology, is putting together a list of, hey, here's the copiers that we have, here's what we're gonna get rid of, and then receive offers from recyclers. Whoever gives us the best bid, whoever's gonna give us the most money, that's who we'll allow to come and pick up the old units. So that's after I talk with, if this does get approved, after I, sign with Toshiba and figure out when they're gonna have them, and then start calling and sending out the list of copiers we need to get rid of.
Are there any that are still working that are good enough to like double up, like keep until it just burns?
I know.
Yeah, like until, like if it, or are they all just?
I think the reason we're doing this is to be responsive to staff concerns over the machines. I think we heard from at least 3 of the 4 buildings, maybe all 4. I heard from 3 of the 4 personally. So
Things
this
aren't
was
working?
not, so this wasn't something we had expected to purchase, but as you might recall from a previous budget update, we received a reimbursement for some unexpected expenses, and so we're allocating these funds to address what was expressed as a staff need. So I don't know that the old ones would be conducive to being efficient.
Just keep anywhere?
Yeah, I think most staff members, I think it's like Christmas morning when they get a new copier. I mean, there's no greater thing.
Right.
To go to a copy machine and have it work and not have a jam or,
Yeah, so if I can speak to how many copies our current fleet has printed, we're at the 27 million mark over the course of the last 10 or so years of having the copiers. So we've definitely got quite a few mileage out of a lot of them.
The ones we
So
have.
this is, adding the two together, so it's $196,475 for basically 5 years, right? I mean, that's kind of what.
Yeah,
an
so
estimate.
So the copiers, yeah, exactly. So typically the copiers will for sure last 5 years, but like we did with the copiers we have currently, we did go past the 5-year mark. So we do have, you do have some wiggle room on the tail end of support to, try to stretch it whatever it is that you are planning to replace. But yeah, I would say that's roughly about how much it would
What is
cost.
it like to lease? Do they offer lease service? I don't know how copiers moved anymore, like you used to like lease, and it's like they do all the service, provide all the ink, and they kind of do it, like how is leasing something of that comparable to purchase?
Yeah, so in the offers, they did actually include the option to lease, and it was more expensive in the offers that we were given.
Like
Um,
25,000 more.
Over that 5-year period?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So
Depends on
typically,
funds.
right, so typically it's lease to own, and that's how we have, the copiers we have now were also lease to own. And so, yeah, in total, we would spend a little bit more to lease them, but, you know, for some organizations, if they don't have the funds up front to just buy everything, that might be a better option for them.
Well, does the print services, does that include like if you have to buy a part? So if they do come in and it includes having to replace a part or something, is all those pretty much under warranty? And
Yes.
so we don't pay an additional fee for that?
That's-
That's included in that?
Yes, so it's also, if a machine breaks and it's covered under this contract, they will replace it outright.
Okay.
So it's everything. It's making sure everything's running and also supplying the toner, the staples. The only thing they don't provide with the contract is paper.
Okay.
And that's what we use currently. That's what we've used since I started working here back in 2018. And so basically just refreshing that and going with a different company. Right now we have Konica devices. We're going to be switching because we got such a competitive offer from Toshiba, switching to Toshiba.
Okay.
They're about like $50,000 less than the next best offer, so.
Nice.
Can I ask a related question while we have you?
Sure.
I'm really impressed from the parent perspective with the maintenance program for the Chromebooks, but I don't think we've heard about it. Like, are you able to keep up with the maintenance and the parents pay the required fees, or is that very challenging, or?
Yeah, so, I mean, we increased our staffing to support repairing the devices, and thankfully, we've been able to bring on board people that are very experienced with doing device repairs, so
Okay.
the feedback I've gotten from staff is that everything's quick to get repaired on time. We typically order our parts to have spares, that way, you know, we order, 5 to 10 at a time of something, that way it's just you pull it off the shelf, you do the repair, that sort of thing. The one concern that I do have is not everybody does pay the fees.
Yeah, I
And
wondered.
we've been trying to make sure, I have a basically like an automatic broadcast that I can send out, once, I try to do it quarterly at least, to say, hey, there's still an outstanding balance for this repair, contact this person, me if you have any questions. I know that one suggestion that we got when we talked about this previously was to turn on sort of like a payment plan, and we did turn on partial payments so parents can pay in smaller increments. I have gotten some parents, I've taken a look, I'll send out a call and an email and then just check like the next day or two to see how many people are paying, and typically you get a couple, but not everybody does. So the current plan, I've talked with the high school about it, the current plan is for seniors when they graduate, if they haven't paid the repair fee, we have the option of potentially withholding their diploma and their graduation. So thankfully, we haven't had to do that so far, but I think, as we continue with our one-to-one program, we're gonna have to decide if that's something that we wanna do,
Yeah.
so.
How many, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and if it comes down to, it's, a financial burden, or, they can't handle, we would address that. That has not been brought to my attention, those being the issue.
And how many, I'm guessing that the bills are probably different depending on what needs to be fixed or what happened.
Exactly.
So how many outstanding bills are we talking? Like a handful or?
No, it's quite a few
100?
at this point. I mean, I would say that, we're looking at probably around 30 to 40% of total charges have not been paid for.
Percent.
So, yeah, of all of the repairs, so it's a significant amount, so.
And are they, do you know, just off the top of your head, are there a significant number of seniors that haven't paid that?
I would have
I'm
to check.
guessing it's not seniors if it accumulates and they become seniors.
Yeah, I would have to check, and that's definitely something that I want to check before graduation, so we follow up with the high school. So,
Yeah.
I think most of the repairs are at the middle school level. The younger kids tend to be a little bit rougher on their devices.
That's what we saw last June was the number of damaged devices was significantly higher at the middle school. Part of that was due to their non-functional or too small lockers and the fact that middle school students are required to use them, and there's a lot of like compressing the locker, which then compressed the, or case, which then compressed the screen into the keyboard, and so there were a lot of, hopefully that'll be one of the things we address with, besides all the kids cutting their fingers and hands on the sharp middle school lockers, through the bond, getting rid of all those and putting in functional, safe lockers that don't break their Chromebooks or cut their hands. Which would be a nice upgrade.
Yep.
I will say too, James didn't mention this, but just some things I've seen, because obviously the tech office is down right outside the lobby for me. They do a lot of things internally to save money, so I don't understand 95% of it, but Zaharan was showing me, for example, last week that there's some piece, part of the processor or whatever that goes in the Chromebook that normally would be a $225 repair, and he's come up with some system where he can solder it and do something himself, so the total cost is coming out to be $13. So every time he does one of those at his level, that's saving us over $200. So they're doing some good stuff.
Any other questions? All right. If you have any other questions about this, I would get a hold of James or Adam before our next meeting. Otherwise, we'll move this for a vote at our next meeting. Don't know when that is. I don't have the date, but
May 6th or something like that.
May 1st or 3rd?
Oh,
May 6th.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move it to May 6th. Thank you very
Awesome.
much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Next, proposal of a supplemental curriculum for 11th grade. We have all of this nice write-up. Is there anything you want to
Yeah,
add?
I'll take this one. I'm scrolling through the longest bid in history here. I think I've finally gotten through it. Okay. So Dr. Cook can't be here this evening, so I'll take this one. More or less, there's one novel in English 11 that department has identified as wanting to change out. That unit has to do with resiliency, perseverance, and so they were looking for something to replace the book they've had, which is just something that we feel like we need to move on from. So the recommendation is Unbroken. It's a bestseller and was turned into a movie, I believe, a number of years ago. There's two different versions of the book. There's the original version, which from everything that we've seen is recommended for upper high school, so it would be appropriate for 11th and 12th graders. This is an 11th grade class, obviously. There's also a young adults version, which has some content removed. It's a little bit shorter, more accessible, and that would be applicable for either families that prefer that version for their child or some of our students where that might be more at their reading level. So two different versions of the same book, and Dr. Cook and Dr. Delp have outlined the rationale and some of the other details in their memos, and we have copies of those books that are here this evening, but we'll keep available at the central office if you're interested in looking at them in more detail.
And would this be a required text for all, or is it one of many that students can choose from?
So I'm not 100% sure on that question. That's a good question. It's enough.
Did it say it in?
I thought it did. Let me.
I know that some of the
Right.
classes have
Yeah.
a full list of different ones they can choose from.
Well, maybe if it has it in there, I might have overlooked it. The bottom line, though, is it'll be read by enough students to be considered curriculum,
Yep.
so it would need your approval
That's fine.
regardless.
I thought I read it in here that it was thing.
I'm looking at
All students college ready. All right, they're up here. I can pass them around if anybody wants to look at them. Does anybody have any questions for Adam on these? Oh, they smell like new books.
It's a pretty powerful novel if you haven't read it, and it does have some strong scenes of torture. It's based on a very inspirational and pretty well-known story. Olympian, I don't know, I don't want to give away the plot, but anyway, it's a pretty powerful story, but there is some content in there that's pretty strong, and that's why it's recommended for upper high school readers. But again, there's the young adults version that, in addition to being more accessible, does tone it down in some areas a little bit.
It says all students, by the way.
Yeah, all 11 grade students.
Yeah.
All right, if you have any specific questions or want to look at these, I mean, they're up here, I can pass them around, or you can go and talk with Adam. Otherwise, we'll put this on for May 6th. The Williamston Meridian Township tax collection agreement. I'm guessing it has tax collection
Yes.
with you.
Yeah, so Meridian sent us this agreement, and when I asked them why we were getting it, because I have not seen any of this since I've been here, they said they were supposed to be doing this documentation all along, and they were just now made aware, but it's outlining basically exactly what's happening, and I do agree with everything in here. This is how we handle our tax collections. Since this was the first one we received, I wanted to just bring it to your attention, so I don't know if we'll be getting these from our other taxing authorities, but just FYI, just business as usual and putting it on paper. So.
Do we have this actual agreement that we need to sign?
Yes,
Or-
so I have it, or we have it to go be signed next week, or next meeting. Is that correct?
Does it require?
I don't think.
So I
it
don't
really-
think it requires a vote.
You're
I don't
probably
think so
correct, yeah.
either.
I think we just have to sign it.
Okay, then yeah, we can probably sign this.
Okay.
And it is either in your signature or Dr. Spina's or.
Well, it
Who is
says
president?
school board president and school board secretary. I don't know
Oh,
if I've
okay.
signed
Then
this before,
And it might be
in there now, okay.
in Amanda's.
It is, yep.
Okay.
All right,
Okay, so yeah, if we get any future agreements like this from the other authorities, we'll just pass them along for signature, but
signatures.
wanted to just bring it to your attention.
All right. Any questions about that? Okay, next, the payroll contract, and will that be you also?
That's me too, yep. So yeah, I just wanted to touch base on a few things with this renewal, and kind of just some background. Our current contract for the 23-24 school year is just under $87,000, and we've had a 3% annual increase previously. So you'll see here, this is a 15% increase, bringing us to $100,000, and a 5% annual increase. And the reasons for that, or these pretty significant differences are our previous contract was built under the assumption that we would be sharing our payroll specialist with another district and therefore splitting the cost of that individual. And that has not turned out to be the case. We do need a full-time position, and that is Cameron. I don't know if any of you have met Cameron, but she's wonderful. So we have her 100% of the time, and then, the $100,000 contract still does not cover the cost of her payroll and benefits. And so that is why they have used the 5% increase, so that we are gradually making up that difference over the next 3 years. Another thing to note is that we do get Brent Little, he's the director of payroll and HR over there. We do get a lot of his time, and he does take a second look at all Cameron's work, which we wouldn't have that if we had someone in-house. So we do kind of consider him a benefit within this contract. We had also added a few things within the contract, so Cameron's gonna help with the preparation and distribution of wage memos for all staff. That's something I just don't have the time to do. We're also gonna have, it's probably gonna be Brent, but he's gonna provide contract language input during negotiations, so that we can kind of clean up our contracts and make sure everything's as clear and up to date as we can get it. And then we also added some quarterly reporting and various other payments into the contract that are due this year. So higher costs, but we are still on the winning end of it and getting more coverage. So.
Any questions? All right, thank you. We have the list of our next proposed meeting dates. Any questions, concerns? Nope. All right, we will move to the next meeting to vote on. Next, we have a closed session, so can I have a motion to go into closed session, please?
Motion to go into closed session?
I second it.
All right, so first by Chris, second by Deb, and Amanda, can you take us through roll call, please?
Amanda, yes. Chris?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Deborah?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
And Nancy.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right. All right, can I have a motion to come out of closed session, please?
Motion to come out of closed session?
Second.
Okay, first Chris, second Dave. And can we go through roll call, please?
Amanda, yes. Chris?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Deborah? Yes. Julie?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
And Nancy.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right, sorry, just have to write that down. Can I please have a motion for our minutes?
Move the Williamston Board of Education approve the minutes of the regular meeting held on March 18th, 2024, and the special meeting held on April 1st, 2024, as presented.
Second?
All right, so first by Dave, second by Sarah. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. This is a roll call vote. Can I have a motion for the approved resolution for our operating millage?
Whereas this board intends to submit a proposition at a special election to be held on Tuesday, August 6, 2024, to on or before 4 p.m. on Tuesday, May 14, 2024, the board shall certify any ballot proposition to be submitted to the voters at such election to the election coordinator or coordinators designated to conduct elections within the district, the election coordinator. Now therefore be it resolved that a special election of the school electors of the district be called and held on Tuesday, August 6, 2024. 2, the proposition to be voted on at the special election shall be stated on the ballots in substantially the form as set forth in Exhibit A. 3, the election coordinator is requested to A, utilize a newspaper published or of general circulation within the district for publication of notices in accordance with the election law requirements. B, utilize ballot proposition summary information as prepared by legal counsel in the forms of the notices of last day of registration and election in substantially the form as set forth in Exhibit B attached hereto. C, provide a proof copy of the ballot to the district and its legal counsel in sufficient time to allow the ballot to be proofed prior to printing. 4, the secretary of this board is hereby authorized and directed to file a copy of this resolution with the election coordinator and with any election clerk or clerks designated to conduct elections within the district by 4 p.m. on Tuesday, May 14th, 2024. 5, all resolutions and parts of resolutions insofar as they conflict with the provisions of this resolution, B and the same are hereby rescinded.
I second it.
Okay, first by Chris, second by Deb. This is a roll call, so can you take us through roll call, please? Amanda?
Amanda, yes. Chris?
Yes?
Dave?
Yes.
Deborah?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
And Nancy.
Yes.
Okay. The
Motion
proposal
carries.
passes unanimously.
Can I make a quick
Yep,
note?
absolutely.
Just for clarity, I know this was voted on prior to the bond proposal, the 0 mil increase bond proposal that'll be up for the first meeting in May for the board to decide on. If you voted on to approve the 0 mil bond proposal, that will be the first item on the agenda, and this will be the second. So, and when you look at the ballot in August, this, even though you approved it first, this will be the second item, mostly for a number of reasons, but mostly because obviously the bond is more important to the future of the district by quite a bit. But in any case, just so you know, that's how that'll work out when it shows up in August.
And we vote on that, we vote on our bond proposal language.
First meeting in
First
May.
meeting, okay, May 6th. Okay,
It's under review by the Treasury now, and I don't expect any issues.
and they'll get it back to us by
It's-
that time.
It's within the 30-day window they have to review it.
All right. Okay, can I please have we have some separate action items. Can I please have a motion for our teacher status changes?
I make a motion that the Williamston Board of Education approve the teacher probationary status change from 4th year to 5th year for Laura Edgar and Bailey Lawrence.
Second.
So first by Sarah, second by Dave. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, can I have a motion for our teachers going from year 3 to year 4?
I make a motion that the Williamston Board of Education approve the teacher probationary status change from 3rd year to 4th year for Abigail Black, Erin Chalmers, Emily Dubeck, Cassandra Everhart, Colleen Barris, Colleen Feeney, Lauren Van Flanbrook, and Jordan Williams.
Second.
Okay, first by Sarah, second by Dave. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Can I have a motion for our teachers going from year 2 to year 3?
Make a motion that the Williamston Board of Education approve the teacher probationary status change from second year to third year for Shayna Blust, Samantha Boggs, Rachel DeBrincat, Abigail Jean Charles, and Ryan Spain.
I second it.
Was that Deb?
Yes.
So first by Chris, second by Deb. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any motion carries. Can I have a motion for our teachers going from year 1 to year 2?
I make a motion that the Williamston Board of Education approve the teacher probationary status change from 1st year to 2nd year for Chelsea Bolas, Kristen Gillian, Carrie Calmer, Nathaniel Gibson, Sophia McCool, Catherine Subu, and Amanda Wenzel.
Second.
All right, so first by Sarah, second by Dave. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Can I have a motion for there no change in probation status, please?
Move the Williamston Board of Education approve the recommendation that Madison Battle remain at third-year probationary status.
Second.
Okay, so first by Dave, second by Sarah. Any other discussion?
May I make a caveat?
Yep.
Just for the record, this is because she's on leave this year, so it's not due to performance-related issues at all. It's just she's not here, so I hope
So it
she'll
doesn't
be
count
back soon.
towards her.
Right.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, can I please have a motion to approve a leave?
I make a motion that the Williamston Board of Education approve leave for Vijay Lakshmi Sadnish Kumar as requested.
Second.
First by Chris, second by Sarah. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. May I please have a motion about repairing and resurfacing the high school gym floor?
I'll make a motion that we approve the repair and resurfacing of the high school performance gym floor.
Do I have a second?
Second.
So first by Deb, second by Dave. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And our last one, approval of our administrative and athletic counseling office furniture.
Make a motion that the Williamston Board of Education approve the proposal from Do-L Learning Environment Specialist to remove and replace the existing office furniture in the high school administrative, athletic, and counseling offices. This project will not exceed $33,145.65.
I second it.
All right, first by Chris, second by Deb. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So our board goals are there. We do not have any correspondence. Do we have any citizen comments? No citizen comments. Board member requests and reports. We are a go for the ice cream social, which, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to, I'll send you out the date of the ice cream social. I'd have to look it up. You have your graduation invitation. We also have the dates in May for teacher appreciation. Do we have the lunches set? The lunches have been set too?
Lunches are
right?
set. Yeah, I think I sent those to you, but
Yep.
I'll resend it. As far as like the start times, obviously if you're planning on coming to elementary,
Plan on the day?
it's a long day. And I'll probably need some help with the staff appreciation gifts, but I'll get back to you on details just in terms of sorting those. But I'll let you know.
Okay, and we also got the date for the retirement party.
I just wanted to say that April 22nd, which is Monday, is Art Fest. So that's what I was just looking at to bring it up. It starts at 5 o'clock. So if anyone's interested in doing that. I know spring has so much stuff going on, so if you can't make everything, people understand, but.
April 22nd at 5,
Yeah.
right, at the high school?
We don't have a board meeting that night.
Anything else?
The
Barb?
golf outing.
The golf outing, I think, is
May
May
4th.
4th.
Yeah.
All right, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
First by Sarah, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, have